stars burned cold and quiet at the edge of human space. A vast, invisible line stretched across the galaxy, known to all as the human line. No alien dared cross it. Stories whispered of ships that vanished, crews that never returned. Galaxy called it cursed, but no one knew why. On this dark night, a massive fleet of craft warships approached, their hulls gleaming like knives in the starlight. Commander Vark, leader of the craft, stood on the bridge of his flagship, Iron Claw. His sharp eyes glinted with pride. The craft were warriors, conquerors of 100 worlds. To them, humans were nothing, a weak species, hiding in their corner of the galaxy. Human space, Vark growled, his voice like grinding stones. They think they can scare us with myths. His crew laughed, their claws clicking on metal floors. The craft fleet, 1,000 ships strong, moved closer to the border. Their sensors scanned the void, finding nothing but empty space. No defenses, no ships, Vark said, smirking. This will be easy. Far away, hidden in the shadow of a dead star, a small human scout ship watched. The starlight was sleek, its black hull blending into the dark. Inside, Captain Elena Hart sat in the command chair, her face calm but sharp. Her crew of 5 worked quietly, their screens glowing with data. Lena's dark eyes flicked to the craft fleet on the main display. Crossing the line, she said softly. Lieutenant Rowe, her second in command, frowned. Should we warn them, Captain? Height. His voice was steady, but his hands gripped the console tightly. Elena nodded. Send a message. Rowe tapped his controls, and a signal shot toward the craft fleet. A cold, clear voice filled their bridges. This is human space. No species may enter. Turn back now, or face the void. The message repeated, unyielding, like a machine that never slept. Vark laughed, his sharp teeth flashing. Humans think they can order us. Ignore it, full speed ahead. The craft fleet surged forward, crossing the invisible line. Their ships hummed with power, weapons ready, confident in their strength. They expected a fight, maybe a few weak human ships, but nothing came. The stars stayed silent. On starlight, Elena leaned back, her fingers tapping her chair. "Okay." They didn't listen, she said, almost sad. Rogue glanced at her, nervous. Should we activate the defenses, Captain? Not yet, Elena said. Let them feel it first. Minutes passed. As craft fleet moved deeper into human space, their confidence growing. Vark paced the bridge, barking orders. Scan again. Where are they hiding? His crew obeyed, but the screens showed nothing, just empty space. Then a faint hum filled the air. It was soft at first, barely noticeable, but it grew louder, deeper, like a heartbeat from the void. The craft froze, looking around. What's that sound? Vark demanded. A young officer checked his console. Sir, it's coming from everywhere. The hum grew stronger, vibrating through the ship's walls. Lights flickered, screens glitched. Claws dug into his chair. Find it. Now, he roared. On starlight, Elena watched the craft fleet slow down. Her crew screens showed strange signals dancing across the border. They've triggered the first layer, she said. Ro swallowed hard. Captain, if they keep going, they won't, Elena said, her voice firm. They'll learn. Back on Ironclaw, panic spread. The hum was now a low roar, shaking the crew's bones. The sensors failed one by one. Akana shouted, Sir, our weapons are offline. Vark spun toward him, eyes wide. How? Fix it. But the crew had no answers. Systems were dying, and no one knew why then. The main screen flickered. Single word appeared, glowing red. Run. Vark stared, his heart pounding. The hum stopped. Silence filled the ship. heavy and cold. Every craft held their breath, waiting. A faint light blinked in the distance, small but growing brighter. Something was coming. Vark's voice trembled. What have we done? The screen went black dot. The craft fleet drifted in the cold void of human space, their confidence shattered. The eerie word, "Run," still glowed on the screens of the Iron Claw, Commander Vark's flagship. The strange hum had stopped, but the silence felt worse. Vark's claws gripped his chair, his sharp eyes darting across the bridge. "Report," he barked. His crew scrambled, but their consoles flickered, giving no answers. The 1,000-ship fleet, once a symbol of craft power, now felt like a herd of prey waiting for the hunter. Suddenly, a deafening blast shook the fleet. A craft destroyer exploded in a ball of fire, metal fragments scattering into the stars. Screams filled the comms as another ship vanished, then another. "What's happening?" Vark roared, his voice cracking. His officers shouted over each other, their claws tapping uselessly at dead controls. Sensors showed nothing, no enemy ships, no weapons, just empty space tearing their fleet apart. Aboard the human scout ship Starlight, hidden in the shadows, Captain Elena Hart watched the chaos unfold. Her crew screens glowed with data, tracking every craft ship. "They've hit the second layer," Elena said, her voice calm but firm. Lieutenant Rowe, her second in command, wiped sweat from his brow. "Captain, should we stop them now?" he asked, his hands trembling. Elena shook her head. "They need to learn." She turned to her tech officer, Ensign Leela. "Show me the grid." Leela's fingers flew across her console, pulling up a map of the human line, a vast network of invisible defenses guarding human space. No one in the galaxy knew its secrets, not even most humans. Lena's eyes narrowed. "Activate the first strike." Back on Iron Claw, Vark's crew panicked as another ship exploded. "Find the enemy," Vark shouted, but his voice was drowned by alarms. A young officer, Taz, stared at his screen, his face pale. "Sir, there's nothing out there. It's like the void itself is attacking us." Vark snarled, shoving Taz aside to check the screen. Empty. No ships, no missiles, just darkness. Then, a faint energy signal blinked on the sensors. Too quick to trace. "What is that?" Vark muttered. In the Starlight's command room, Elena's crew worked in silence. Lila whispered, "The drones are active." Tiny, invisible human drones, part of the human line, moved through the craft fleet like ghosts. They didn't fire weapons or show on scanners. They simply disrupted, rewired, destroyed. One drone could shut down a ship's core in seconds. Elena watched as red dots craft ships blinked out on her map. "They never listened," she said softly. A memory flashed in Elena's mind. Years ago, humans were explorers, trusted by many species, but an alien alliance betrayed them, attacking their colonies. Humans fought back, not with ships or soldiers, but with secrets. They built the human line, a defense no one could crack. Elena's father, a scientist, had helped design it. He told her, "We protect our home, no matter the cost." Now, she carried that promise. On Iron Claw, Vark's rage turned to fear. Half his fleet was gone, and he had nothing to fight. "Retreat," he yelled, but the ships wouldn't move. Engines failed, stuck in place by an unseen force. Taz pointed at the screen. "Sir, look." A faint outline appeared, a massive shape, bigger than any ship, moving through the stars. It was no craft vessel, no human ship they knew. It was something else, something impossible. "Zoom in," Vark ordered. The image flickered, showing a shadow that swallowed the stars. It wasn't a ship, it was a presence, dark and vast. The crew froze, their breaths shallow. Taz whispered, "What have we done?" Claws dug into his console, his heart pounding. Shadow grew closer, silent, unstoppable. On starlight, Rao's voice broke the quiet. Captain, they've seen it. Elena's face stayed calm, but her eyes were sharp. Good, she said. Let them be afraid. She turned to Lila. Prepare the next phase. Lila nodded, her fingers hovering over the controls. The human line wasn't just drones. It was something bigger, something the galaxy wasn't ready for. The shadow loomed over the craft fleet. Vark's second-in-command, a scarred warrior named Krez, grabbed his arm. Commander, we can't fight this. Vark stared at the shadow, his voice barely a whisper. What are they? The screen flickered again, and the shadow vanished. But the fear stayed. The craft fleet floated like wreckage in the black void of human space. Commander Vark's flagship, Ironclaw, flickered with failing lights. Half the fleet was gone, torn apart by invisible forces. The shadow that loomed over them had vanished, but the fear lingered. Vark stood on the bridge, his claws trembling. Hayes' crew worked in panic, trying to restart systems that died without reason. A low buzz filled the air, not the hum from before, but something new, sharp, like whispers in a dead language. A young craft soldier. Taz pressed his headset tight, his eyes wide. Sir, I hear voices, he said, his voice shaking. Vark spun toward him. Voices? What are they saying? Taz shook his head. I don't know. It's not our language. It's human. The words sent a chill through the crew. The voices grew louder, a chorus of soft, eerie chants flooding every headset. Screens flickered, showing static, then glimpses of faces, human faces, pale and still, staring through the void. Shut it off, Vark roared, but the voices didn't stop. They echoed inside the ship, inside their heads. A gunner dropped to his knees, claws over his ears. Make it stop, he screamed. Vark grabbed Taz's console, but the screen flashed a single word. Stay. His heart pounded. Humans, he growled. What are you? Far away, aboard the human scout ship Starlight, Captain Elena Hart watched the craft's chaos on her screens. The bridge was quiet, her crew focused. Lieutenant Rowe leaned forward, his face tense. Captain, the ghost signal is active. They're hearing it now. Elena nodded, her eyes cold. Good. Let it sink in. Ensign Leela, the tech officer, adjusted her controls. The signal's at full strength, she said. They can't block it. The ghost signal was part of the human line, a defense no alien understood. Hidden stations, built from ancient tech humans found in forgotten ruins, sent signals that broke minds and machines. Elena's crew knew only pieces of the truth. Even they didn't fully understand the line's power. Rowe glanced at her. Captain, should we activate Protocol Zero? His voice was low, almost scared. Elena's jaw tightened. Not yet. It's too much. Protocol Zero was the final weapon, a force that could erase entire fleets. But it was dangerous, even to humans. Rowe swallowed hard. If they keep pushing, Elena cut him off. They won't. They're breaking already. A memory flashed in Elena's mind. Long ago, humans explored the stars, trusting other species. But betrayal came in. Alien Alliance attacked, burning human worlds. From the ashes, humans built the line, powered by tech older than the galaxy itself. Elena's father had warned her. It's not just machines. It's alive in ways we don't understand. Now, she felt that weight on her shoulders. On Iron Claw, the voices grew louder, chanting words no craft could grasp. Taz's screen flickered, showing a blurry image of massive station, its surface black and smooth, floating in the void. Sir, look, he shouted. Vark stared, his claws shaking. The station was real, not a shadow. It pulsed with faint light, like a heart beating. Then it vanished from the screen. as if it had never been. "Find it," Vark yelled, but the sensors were dead. The voices stopped, leaving a silence that crushed the crew's spirits. Vark's second in command, Krez, whispered, "They're playing with us." Vark snarled, but fear flickered in his eyes. He slammed his fist on the console. "We are Krath. We don't run." But his voice lacked strength. Suddenly, a bright light filled the bridge. The iron claw shook, alarms screaming. Taz checked his screen, his face pale. "Sir, it's a power surge coming from nowhere." The light grew brighter, blinding, swallowing the ship. Vark shielded his eyes, shouting, "Hold the line." The crew braced, expecting death. On Starlight, Alina watched the light fade on her screens. "Signal's done," Lila said. Lena leaned back, her face unreadable. "They're still alive," she said. For now, Ro looked at her, nervous. "What's next, Captain?" Elena's eyes narrowed. "We wait. They'll beg to leave soon." The Iron Claw's lights dimmed. The crew sat in silence, shaken. Vark stared at the blank screen, his breath heavy. Then, a new message appeared, glowing in cold white letters. "You were warned." The bridge went dark. The Krath flagship Iron Claw hung lifeless in the void of human space, its bridge dark except for flickering emergency lights. Commander Vark stood frozen, staring at the screen where the words "you were warned" had faded. Half his crew was vanished without a trace, leaving empty seats and silence. The remaining Krath soldiers whispered in fear, their claws trembling. The ghost signals' eerie voices had stopped, but the memory of them lingered like a cold shadow. Vark's heart pounded. "Report," K barked, his voice rough. "TAZ." The young officer checked his console, hands shaking. "Sir, systems are back online, but half the fleet's still dead. And the crew." "K," he trailed off. "Too scared to finish," Vark snarled. "Find me something to fight." But the sensors showed nothing's just empty stars. The Krath tried to retreat, but their ships wouldn't move, as if an invisible hand held them in place. Vark's eyes burned with rage and fear. "Humans," he muttered. "What are you hiding?" Board the human scout ship, Starlight, Captain Alina. Hart sat calmly, her sharp eyes on the Krath fleet's struggling signals. The bridge was quiet, her crew tense but focused. Lieutenant Rowe leaned over his console. "Captain, they're trying to run. Should we let them?" Lena's lips tightened. "No, they crossed the line. They stay until they learn." Ensign Leela, the tech officer, adjusted her screen, showing the human line's defense grid. "The anchors are holding their ships," she said. "They're not going anywhere." Elena's comms beeped. A hologram flickered to life, showing 3 stern faces members of the Human Council, secret leaders of their defenses. Their leader, Admiral Chen, spoke in a low voice. "Captain Hart, stop the Krath, but do not reveal our tech." "The galaxy can't know." Alina nodded. "Understood, sir." The hologram faded. Rowe glanced at her, nervous. "Captain, if we use more of the line." Alina cut him off. "We do what we must." A memory stirred in Alina's mind. Humans once trusted the galaxy, sharing their knowledge, but betrayal came, and their colonies burned. From those ruins, they built the human line stations, drones, and secrets powered by ancient tech found in a forgotten asteroid field. Elena's father had worked on it, whispering to her as a child, "It's our shield, but it's also our curse." Now she carried that burden on Iron Claw. Taz shouted, "Sir, I found something." "Okay." His screen showed a faint signal, a small human probe drifting nearby. Vark rushed over, eyes wide. The probe was old, its surface scratched, but glowing faintly, with strange symbols. "Scan it," Vark ordered. The results came fast. Unknown tech, far beyond craft science. Vark's claws tightened. "Humans aren't weak," he said, his voice low. "They've been hiding this." Taz kept scanning, his hands shaking. "Sir, there's more. A bigger signal. It's close." Before Vark could respond, the ship's sensors screamed. The stars outside shimmered, and a massive shape appeared, a human station. It's black and sleek, its surface pulsing with red light. It was huge, bigger than any craft ship, its weapons glowing like angry eyes. The crew gasped, stepping back. Krez, Vark's second in command, whispered, "That's no myth. That's real." Vark stared, his heart racing. "Fire, everything," he roared. The Iron Claw's weapons powered up, but the station didn't move. It just hung there, silent, watching. Vark's crew hesitated, fear gripping them. Taz's voice broke. "Sir, our weapons, they're not locking on." Vark slammed his fist on the console. "Then shoot anyway." On Starlight, Elena watched the craft's desperate move. "They've seen the station," Leela said, her voice steady. Elena nodded. "Let them try. It won't help." The station was part of the human line, built to withstand any attack. Its cloaking tech hid it until needed, and its weapons could end fleets in seconds. Ro leaned closer. "Captain, if they keep fighting, we'll have to use Protocol Zero." Elena's eyes darkened. "Not yet." The Iron Claw fired beams and missiles, streaking toward the station. They hit nothing. The station shimmered and vanished, then reappeared closer. Vark's crew screamed, "It's toying with us." Krez yelled. Vark's claws dug into his chair, his voice a growl. "All ships, full attack, right?" The remaining craft fleet fired, lighting up the void. Then the station's weapons glowed brighter. Vark froze, his breath shallow. The screen went white. The void of human space burned with light as the craft fleet fired at the massive human station. Commander Vark's flagship, Iron Claw, shook with the effort, its weapons blazing, but the station stood untouched, its black surface swallowing every beam and missile like a shadow eating fire. On the bridge, Vark's claws gripped his console, his eyes wide with fury and fear. "Keep firing," he roared. His crew obeyed, but their faces showed panic. The station's glowing red weapons pulsed, silent and menacing. Suddenly, a thin beam shot from the station. It sliced through a craft cruiser like a knife through paper, splitting it in half. The explosion lit up the stars, and screams filled the comms. Another beam fired, then another, each one destroying a ship with terrifying precision. Vark's second in command, Krez, shouted, "Our shields are useless." The craft fleet, once 1,000 strong, was now a scattering of wrecks. Vark's heart pounded. "What are these humans?" he whispered. Aboard the human scout ship Starlight, Captain Elena Hart watched the destruction on her screens. The bridge was tense, her crew silent. Lieutenant Rao's hands shook as he spoke. "Captain, the station's in full attack mode." We stopped. Elena's face stayed calm, but her eyes were sharp. "No, they chose this." Ensign Leela, the tech officer, monitored the human line systems. "The station's drones are targeting their power cores," she said. "They can't fight back." The human line was no ordinary defense. It's built from ancient tech found in a forgotten alien ruin. It was a network of stations and drones that could outthink and outfight any enemy. Elena's crew knew only fragments of its power, but they trusted it. Ro leaned closer. "Captain, if we push further, we'll need Protocol Zero." Elena's jaw tightened. "It's too dangerous. It could destroy everything, even us." Ro nodded, but his eyes showed doubt. A memory flashed in Elena's mind. Humans once roamed the galaxy, peaceful and curious. But an alien alliance betrayed them attacking their worlds. From that pain, humans found the ancient ruin. Its tech, unlike anything known. They built the line to protect their home, vowing no one would hurt them again. Elena's father had told her, this power comes with a price. Use it wisely. Now, she felt that weight more than ever. On Iron Claw, the bridge was chaos. Alarms screamed as another ship exploded. Taz, the young officer, checked his screen, his voice trembling. Sir, we're down to 50 ships. Fox slammed his fist down. Send a message to the galaxy. Tell them what the humans are doing. Taz hesitated, then typed frantically, broadcasting a warning. Humans are not weak. Their space is death. Stay away. The signal shot out, a desperate cry to every species listening. Vark stared at the station, its weapons glowing brighter. We can't win, Krez whispered, his voice broken. Vark snarled. We are Krath. We fight. But his words felt hollow. The station fired again, and another cruiser vanished in a flash of fire. The crew's fear filled the air, thick and heavy. Taz's screen flickered, showing a faint glitch crack in the station's cloaking system. Sir, I see something, he shouted. A weak point. Maybe? Vark's eyes lit up. Targeted. Now, on Starlight, Lila's console beeped. Captain, they're scanning the station. They might find a flaw. Elena's face stayed steady. Let them try. It won't matter. The station was built to adapt, its systems shifting faster than any scanner could track. But Ro looked worried. Okay, if they hit it, they could damage the line. Elena's voice was cold. They won't get the chance. Lena turned to Leela. Activate the partial protocol. Leela hesitated, then typed a command. The station's red glow pulsed faster. On Ironclaw, Vark's crew aimed at the weak point, hope flickering in their eyes. But then, the stars outside shimmered. The void itself seemed to bend, twisting around the Krath ships. Consoles sparked, and the floor shook. Taz screamed, What's happening? The air felt heavy, like reality was breaking. Vark stared out the window, his breath shallow. The station vanished, then reappeared closer, its weapons blazing. The Krath fleet shuddered as the bending void tightened its grip. Vark's voice was a whisper. We never should have come. The screen went white, and a low roar filled the ship. The Krath fleet was a shadow of its former might, reduced to a handful of battered ships trapped in human space. The Ironclaw, Commander Vark's flagship, trembled under the weight of an unseen force. The void itself had twisted, shaking the ship as reality bent. Vark stood on the bridge, his claws digging into his chair. His crew, pale and shaken, stared at blank screens. The human station, black and menacing, loomed in the distance, its red weapons glowing like eyes in the dark. Vark's warning to the galaxy calling humans, the silent death, had reached every corner of known space, across the stars. Alien leaders gathered in panic. On the Viren homeworld, High Speaker Zara watched Vark's message, her scales paling. Humans are no myth, she whispered. In the Zik Empire, Warlord Grun slammed his fist on a table. They hide power we can't match. The galaxy buzzed with fear, calling human space a forbidden zone. No one knew what the human line was, but Vark's words painted a grim picture. Enter, and you vanish. On Starlight, Captain Elena Hart's face stayed calm as she watched the Krath fleet struggle. Her crew screens showed the galaxy's Chattervark's message spreading like fire. Lieutenant Rowe leaned forward, his voice tense. Captain, the galaxy's uniting against us. Teeming ships. Elena's eyes narrowed. Let them come. They'll learn. Ensign Leela, the tech officer, checked her console. The station's holding strong, but the Krath are targeting its cloaking system again. Elena's mind drifted to a memory. Humans once shared their knowledge, trusting the galaxy. But betrayal came, an alien alliance burned their colonies. From that pain, humans built the human line using ancient tech found in a dead ruin. Lena's father had warned her, "Our strength makes us alone." Okay. Now, the galaxy's fear proved him right. Humans were isolated, but safe. Alina turned to Ro, ready to station for more. This isn't over. On Ironclaw, Vark's crew clung to hope. Taz, the young officer, worked frantically at his console. "Sir, I found it. Station's cloaking has a weak point." Vark's eyes lit up, his voice a growl. "Targeted. Ships, focus fire." Krez, his second in command, hesitated. "Commander, we're too weak. We can't win," Vark snarled. "We'll die trying." The remaining craft ships aimed at the station's weak spot, their weapons charging with what little power they had. The station shimmered, its cloaking flickering. Vark's heart raced. "Now," he shouted. Beams and missiles fired, streaking toward the station. For a moment, hope flickered in the crew's eyes, but the station's surface rippled, absorbing every hit. Its weapons glowed brighter, and a low hum filled the void again. Taz's screen glitched, showing the same word. "Stay." The crew froze, fear choking them. Krez whispered, "They're not human. They're monsters." On Starlight, Leela's console beeped. "Captain, they hit the cloaking system, but it's adapting." Alina nodded. "Cat, let them think they have a chance." Rao's face was grim. "Captain, alien reinforcements are an hour away. They reach us." Alina cut him off. "They won't. Increase the station's output." Leela typed quickly, and the station's red glow pulsed faster, its power surging. Vark stared at the station, his hope fading. "One last push," he muttered. He turned to Taz, "Rig the Ironclaw's core. If we can't win, we'll take them with us." Taz's eyes widened. "Sir, that'll destroy us all." Ka's claws slashed the air. "Do it." Crew worked fast, overloading the ship's core. The Ironclaw hummed with dangerous energy, its hull glowing red. Vark's voice was cold. "Full speed at the station. We end this now." On Starlight, an alarm blared. Leela shouted, "Captain, their flagship's core is overloading. They're going to ram the station." Elena's calm broke for a moment, her eyes sharp. "Can the station hold?" Lila checked her screen. "Maybe, but it's risky." Ro grabbed Elena's arm. "We need Protocol Zero now." Lena hesitated, her father's warning echoing in her mind. But the Ironclaw was closing in, a glowing spear aimed at the station's heart. Elena's voice was steady. "We can't hold back now." She nodded to Lila. "Prepare the station." The red glow intensified, and the void trembled. Vark's ship charged, its core screaming with power. Vark stood tall, his eyes locked on the station. "For the craft," he roared. The station's weapons flared, and the stars shook. The Ironclaw, Commander Vark's flagship, burned like a dying star as it charged toward the human station. Its core screamed, overloaded with energy, ready to explode and take the station with it. Vark stood on the bridge, his claws steady, eyes locked on the black, gleaming station. "For the craft," shouted, his voice fierce but hollow. The remaining craft crew braced, knowing this was their end. The station's red weapons glowed brighter, a silent promise of destruction. Aboard the Starlight, Captain Alina Hart watched the Ironclaw's suicide run. Alarms blared on the bridge. "Ensign," Leela's voice shook. "Captain, their core's critical. If it hits, it could damage the station." Lieutenant Ro grabbed Elena's arm. "We need Protocol Zero now, or we lose everything." Elena's face was stone, but her heart raced. Protocol Zero was the human line's ultimate weapon, powerful enough to erase fleets, but risky, even for humans. Her father's words echoed. It's our shield, but it's our curse. No choice, Alina said softly. Activate it. Leela hesitated, then typed the command. The station's glow pulsed, and the void itself seemed to hold its breath. A low hum filled the air, deeper than before, shaking the stars. The iron claw was seconds away, its hull glowing red-hot. Vark's crew shouted their final cries. Then, a blinding flash erupted from the station. The iron claw exploded in a silent burst, its pieces scattering into the void. A scream cut off. Lost in the light, the flash faded, and silence fell. The craft fleet was going to every ship, every trace erased. On Starlight, the crew stared at their screens, stunned. Ro whispered, "It worked." Alina nodded, but her eyes were heavy. "At what cost?" she said. The station stood unharmed, its cloaking back online, invisible once more. But the galaxy had seen Vark's warning. They knew humans weren't weak. Far across the stars, alien fleets arrived, answering Vark's call. The Viaranzik and others formed a massive armada, their leaders demanding answers. High Speaker Zara's voice crackled over a galactic broadcast. "Humans, surrender your weapons or face war." On Starlight, Alina watched the message, her face calm. She opened a channel to reply. "This is human space. Come closer, and you'll share the craft's fate." Her voice was cold, unyielding. The galaxy fell silent, fear spreading like a wave. Alina's mind drifted to a memory. Humans once trusted the stars, sharing their dreams. But betrayal burned their worlds, and from those ashes they found ancient tech in a forgotten ruin. The human line was born, a shield no one could break. But it made humans alone, feared by all. Alina's father had warned, "Power isolates." US, be ready for that. Now, she understood. The galaxy would never trust humans again. On the Starlight's bridge, the crew sat in silence. Leela checked her console. "No signals, Captain. The armada's holding back." Ro looked at Alina. "They're scared." "We won." Alina shook her head. "We protected our home. But winning, that's something else." She stood, her voice firm. "Set course for the border. We patrol again." Starlight turned, gliding toward the human line, ready for the next threat. The station vanished into the void, its secrets safe. The galaxy whispered of humans, calling them the silent death. No one dared cross the line, but the fear lingered. On Starlight, Alina stared at the stars, her face unreadable. Ro broke the quiet. "Captain, do you think they'll try?" Again, Alina's lips curved into a faint smile. "They always do." As the Starlight moved along the border, a faint signal beeped on Leela's console. She frowned, checking it. "Captain, it's a new contact. Unknown ships, far out, but coming closer." Alina's eyes sharpened, her hand resting on her chair. "Track them," she said. The signal grew stronger, a distant hum in the void. Elena's smile grew. "Let them try." The stars stretched on, cold and endless. The human line stood ready, its power unmatched, its cost heavy. The galaxy watched, afraid but curious. Human space was a mystery, a warning, a challenge. And somewhere beyond the line, new shadows moved, unaware of the cost.